Really gorgeous friends on the internet, welcome back to our channel. So this is a recap of the past from a real speech, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you how to add supabase authentication to your Next.js 14 app. So authentication is really necessary if you want to build a very good product. So in today's video I'm going to try as much as possible to simplify how to integrate supabase to your Next.js 14 project. So let's just get started. So the first thing you have to do is you have to initialize a Next.js project. I've done that already, and so there's it. So I have created the boilerplate you're going to be needing. So let me just explain what we're going to be building today. So we're going to be building a supabase powered authentication system with Next.js. So you can see we have an about page, we have home page, we have the sign out. So right now I've not implemented anything, but what we're going to be doing here is that we're going to be adding authentication, and also we're also going to be restricting certain page from certain users. So that is what we're going to be doing. So let me just show you the login screen. So I've designed everything so you don't have to you don't have to do this from beginning. So, and the GitHub repository is here. So you can just visit GitHub as ng.net or tutorial to get started. So with that being said, let's just jump straight into the project. So head over to Supabase and create an account. After creating an account, head over to click on dashboard and then create a new project. So let's just get started. So I'm going to name this project Supabase Nest Alt. So that's going to be the name, and the database password is, let me just generate this and copy this instantly. So I'm going to head over to my so let me just delete this existing.env and create a new one. So I'm going to create .env, and then I'm going to call this database password. Then I'm going to paste this. So this is our database password. Then let's just go back. Okay, so let's just click create now. So if you create a new project, Supabase is actually going to initialize a new project for you. And one of the interesting things about Supabase is that it's very intuitive and you can easily use it. So let's just copy some environmental variables in a sec. So if you head over to Next.js docs, so we're going to be prompted to install this. So we're going to be using a supabase auth helper's Next.js package, which actually extrapolates those unnecessary things we're going to be doing, and it encapsulates everything in one simple logic, so we could easily add it to our project. So I'm just going to copy these and install it. So to do this, I have to say is, let's say npm install at supabase /auth helper /nextjs, and also at supabase javascript SDK. So I already have this installed. So it's going to take a while. Okay, it's going to take a while, and after that it's going to successfully initialize this. So the next thing we have to do now is to let's see if it's done installing. Okay, yeah, it's done installing. Let's just do this. So the next thing we have to do now is to set up our environmental variable names. So yeah, sorry. Okay, let me head over here. So you're going to see I'm going to explain what this does next. So we have Nest public supabase URL, and also Nest public supabase anonymous key, a num key. I don't even know if that is anonymous. So it's a num key. So we're going to head over here and copy this. So okay, that's refresh. If this happens, just click on the settings and then click on the the API. So you're going to see this. So let's just copy this project URL. So this project URL is going to be placed here. So I'm going to replace it with, I'm going to paste it here, which says Nest public supabase URL. So I'm going to paste it here. The next one we're going to take is the unknown key. So we're going to also paste it here. Okay, now our env is actually satisfied. So the next thing we have to do is to initialize our auth flow. So again, as I said, I've already created the templates we are going to be using. So one thing we have to do now is to create a middleware. So what a middleware will basically do is that a middleware is actually going to detect if the auth section is already active. Like if the auth section is active, it's actually going to continue to the next task. If it's not, it can actually perform other functionality towards it. Normally, I'm going to illustrate this in a bit. So I have a simple diagram here. So this is how it actually works. So again, Next.js 14 is highly on server-side rendering. So once the server is actually like triggered or actually loaded, so the next thing, what actually happens is that the server actually looks for the middleware and gives middleware access to its data. So once the server actually loads, the next thing that follows is the middleware. So it's after the middleware, then the client. So there's a hierarchy here. So after server, middleware, after middleware, the client. So in this middleware, we can actually perform some operations such as validating certain tokens, or actually validating the the user section. So I hope you actually get a bit of understanding of what middleware actually does. So if we head over to the docs here, so you're going to see the middleware. So let's just I'm using TypeScript, so I'm just going to copy this. So just click on copy and then come to supabase, and then it is advisable for you to create your middleware like in the same directory as the app folder. So I'm just going to call it middleware.ts, then paste this. So if you paste this, you're gonna have an error here. So this error you're gonna see. So what we're gonna do is just so we have to generate a TypeScript type for our database, and to do this is really easy. So all you have to do is say, let me just click this. I'm gonna say nps supabase login. So let's just click on this to generate our access token. So it's gonna take here. So just click on generate, and I'm gonna call this let's just say auth code. Click on generate token. So just copy the token and head over here. So let's just paste it. Okay, so supabase logged in. So now we're gonna communicate with supabase. I'm gonna say nps supabase, and I'm gonna say gen, which means generate types for TypeScript, and I'm gonna pass in this. I'm gonna say project ID. So to get our project ID, what we have to do is head over to our general, to the settings in the general section. You're going to see the reference ID. So this reference ID is the ID of our project. Then I'm going to come here and just paste it here. So if you click on this, what's going to happen is that it's actually going to log out the types in the console. So it's going to take a sec. Yeah, I can see that's logged out the types in the console, but that's not what we actually want. We actually want it to actually take all the types and put it inside a separate file. So, and to do this, all I have to do is come here, and in this source folder, I'm going to create a new folder called lib, and I'm going to create another folder called supabase. Supabase, yeah. So what I'm just going to do is I'm going to do this, and I'm going to direct it to where I want it to store the types. So I'm going to say /source and then lib/supabase, and then I'm going to say database.types.ts. So it has created a new file called database.types.ts. So you can see, yeah, now that's created our database types for us. You can see supabase is really cool. Okay, so we have our supabase type. So now let's resolve this. So what I actually like to do most of the time is this. So let me just show you. So one way to do this is to just directly import it. So like this, your problem is solved. But the best approach I usually go for is this. So I'm going to create a global type for this. So, and to do this, just go to your root directory here. And so this is my root directory. I just create a new file called let's say global.d.ts. So this is a global TypeScript declaration. So I'm just going to paste this here, and I'm going to say declare global, and then I'm just going to say type database. So let me just say database as DB. So I'm going to say database as DB. Yeah. So you can see now the error goes away. So you don't need to actually add don't need to import the type of database. So you can just come to NFI and just say database, and it's going to automatically recognize it because the type declaration has been declared globally. Okay. So now we have successfully set up our middleware. So the next thing we have to do is to check for the code exchange. So let me just show you something that happened. So once you want to trigger an authentication, like once an authentication wants to be triggered. So let me just illustrate what actually happens now. So let's say our user actually enters their information. So let's just say I'm going to say ng2004@gmail.com, and then I just type in my password and click sign in. So once the sign in is triggered, let me just show you what happens in a sec. Once the sign in is triggered, so let's just say this is our sign in request. So what actually happens is that Supabase actually expects a code exchange functionality. So a code exchange logic. So what a code exchange logic does is that it actually this request actually sends a code, and once the code is sent, let me show you. So it sends a code. So let me just change the text so it's going to be more readable. Okay, it sends a code. So let's say request. So this request sends a code. So once the code is sent, so we need to exchange the code, and so once the code is exchanged, it sends it back to this request. So let's just say it sent it back to this request. So what we are going to do is that we're going to be creating a logic that's going to handle our code exchange. Again, once a user triggers the sign up action, so what's going to happen is that we will need a server action that actually exchange those codes. So, and to do this, all we have to do is come to this. Let me just copy this a bit. So we have to create a new file. We have to create a new file in this app directory. So let's just create a new file. So just click on create file and just paste it. So this is /callback/route.ts. So this is the server action that handles the code exchange. So let's just copy and paste this. Again, you don't have to worry because this code is actually going to be in the GitHub repository. So okay, let's remove this. Yeah. So again, so once the request is sent, so it's going to actually get the code that the authentication request actually sent. So it's going to get the code. Then we can actually log the code to see the code in the future. So you can actually log the code. So once the code is sent, so Supabase is actually going to validate this. We are going to perform a logic to validate this, and after that, we're going to exchange the code for section. So the code is a gate key for our section, so which is very interesting. So I hope this is not too confusing, but if you're finding it a bit difficult, no worries. Watch this video again, try again, and you're actually going to get it. So okay, so now we have implemented this. So now we can start implementing the login functionality. So just go to your page. Let me just go to the page, our login page. Again, I've created the template, so you don't have to worry. Just go to the GitHub repository, copy and paste. So now let's just say I'm going to say const email and then set email, and I'm going to just say use state. Yeah. So but before I proceed, I would like to make something clear. In supabase, we have two ways of handling authentication. You can either handle authentication through client side or server side, but I actually prefer handling authentication through client side. So we are going to be using client side approach in this video. So after we've done this, the next thing we have to do is this. I have to say const supabase. I'm going to say create client component. Supabase, I'm going to say create client component client. So from at supabase auth helpers Next.js. So this is actually for handling authentication in server side. So let's just say I'm going to say for handling server side authentication, client side authentication. So okay, so what I'm going to say now is I'm going to say const handle login and it's going to be an asynchronous task. So I'm using GitHub Copilot if you're wondering how I get those autocomplete. So I'm just going to say this and yeah, okay. So now all we have to do is I'm going to say const, I'm going to say data also error should be equals to super await supabase or auth dot sign in with password. So yeah, we're gonna be accepting the email and then the password. So this is what it's going to be accepting. So now let's just pass this a bit. So I'm going to come here, I'm going to say value should be equals to email and change. I'm going to just say this. Okay. So let's just do the same. So my GitHub Copilot is automatically going to do that for me. Okay. So we're going to just say click handle login. Okay. So after that, I'm going to say if data.user, then I'm going to say toast dot success. See, logged in successfully. So if you're wondering, so I've actually installed a library called Toastify. So this is a very cool way to display toast to actually give feedback to your users. So if you go to my layout, so I've already set it up, so I've installed it. So this is the style, so this is the configuration of it. So yeah, actually added the toast container so we can actually use it globally. Okay, so back to what we're doing. So after this, I'm gonna say with I'm gonna use like, okay, let me just reference the documentation. So I'm gonna say router.refresh. Okay, so after this, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna say const router. I'm gonna import use router from Nest navigation. So again, make sure it's Nest navigation, not Nest router. So I'm gonna say router.refresh. Okay. So let's just handle for the error. So if there's error, anything else, I'm gonna say those dots. I'm gonna say email password does not exist. Email password is, let's say, doesn't exist. Yeah. Huh? No, doesn't exist. Okay. So does not exist. Okay, so let's just try this, and guess what? It's actually going to fail. So okay, we need to run it. We're going to say npm run dev, but we don't have any accounts yet, so it should probably fail. I'm going to say local was 3000. So let's give it a sec. Okay, so now let's just navigate to login. Okay, so we are using so we actually need to specify use clients. So if you're specifying use clients, it's going to you're going to tell us here that okay, I actually want to use client side. I want to actually use client side component rendering, not server side. Okay, so now let's just try this. I'm going to just choose one of my email. I'm going to say I'm going to say 310. I won't say my password out loud. So it's going to fail. Okay, I think that's a mistake. Okay, so let's just see. So router.refresh, wait user test of error. So let's just test this again. So it's actually reloading, and that's so weird. Okay, my bad. I know why it's actually doing like that. So we actually added form. So let's just change this to div. So the form is actually causing it to reload. So I'm just gonna say this, and I'm just gonna pass in 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Let's say sign in. So you can see email or password does not exist. So okay, so now let's just handle the sign up version of this. Okay, so I'm going to just say const handle sign up, and the next thing I'm going to do is say const supabase. I think okay, so I'm going to just say data and error. Then I'm going to say supabase dot sign up. And we're going to just put in the email and then password. So we're going to let me just copy and paste this because it's basically the same logic. So let's see, if the data user, I want to say accounts created successfully. After that, I'm going to say an error occurred while creating an account. So I really hate this type of error. Well, I just add this. I'm gonna say on click under this. So before I forget, I want to add a loading state to indicate loading. So I'm just gonna come up here and say const. I'm just gonna say loading. Then set this to false. So once the handle login is triggered, I'm going to say set loading to true. And once this is successful, I'm going to say set loading to false. Also come here to undo the same thing. Okay, so let me just paste this. Set loading to true. Set loading to false. Set loading to false. Okay, yeah. So let's try this again. Let me see if the message. Okay, so let's just try this again. So I'm just saying yeah, let me say 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 so email password does not exist. Sorry, I'm going to test for this. So what I'm going to say is, I'm going to say loading. If loading, then I'm going to display this. Just copy and paste. Yeah, let's try this. Okay, let's just sign up because we don't have an account. So okay, account created successfully. So you can see that these two are loading, so we can manually set that. So okay, so our account has been created, so let's just sign in now. So okay, you have not verified our email. So once you sign up for an account, what actually happens is that Supabase actually sends an email to you. So I'm just going to verify the email on my mobile phone right now, but I don't want to show you my email. So let me just click on confirm email. So if you do this, you're going to see a way to confirm your email. So yeah, I've confirmed it. So if you go to your Supabase project and come to the authentication, just click on the authentication section. You're going to see your users here. So if it's not verified, it's going to show you that the user is not verified. So okay, so now let me just log in. It's going to log in successfully. Okay, logged in successfully. Yeah, you can see it's working. So now let me just add the last thing. So once it's logged in, I actually want to redirect them to, let me say, router dot push to the home page. So I'm actually want to push them to the home page. So now let's add the main logic. Okay, now so let's handle the authentication properly. So to do this, I'm just going to copy and paste the code in a sec. So let me show you something. So right now, if we log in, so let me just input the password. Okay, so now if we log in, we actually have one problem when we log in. So once we log in, you can see we can go to the we can go anywhere. We can also return back to the login page, but I actually want to restrict this. So I want, if a user logs in, I don't want the user to be able to go back to the login page except the sign out. And also, if a user is not logged in, I don't want them to be able to access the home page. So I'm just going to copy and paste code to simplify the workflow. So let me just remove this. Okay, so let me explain what this does. So now we are actually initializing a Supabase client. I'm actually configuring it. So we actually getting the create middleware client from the Supabase auth helper. Then we actually have Supabase. We're actually refreshing. So we refresh the section if expired. So, and if not expired, we actually get the section. And okay, so here is the path. So here is the restricted part. So the restricted part are the pages we don't want an unauthenticated user to be able to access. So another page is an about page, so which you have. So the auth part is the login. So that is the auth part. So what is actually happening here is that some conditionals are running. So if user section already exists, we want the user not to be able to go back to the auth part. But if the user is not logged in, or if their section is not active, they can go to their auth part, but they can't go to the restricted part. I actually hope this is well explained. So now let's just test this out. So I'm just going to go back here and you can log in. Okay, let's try to log in and see what happens. So you can see it automatically redirects us back to the to our home section. You can see this is really cool. So yeah, again, this code is going to be in GitHub repository for you to access. Okay, so let's just go back. Let me just see. Okay, so now let's handle the sign out functionality. So now we can see we can actually go to the about section because we actually authenticated. Okay, so now to handle this sign out functionality, all I have to say is const, I'm going to say supabase, and again we're going to be handling this through client side. So we're going to say client create client component client, and then actually import it from at supabase auth helper Next.js. Then after that, what we need to do next is say I'm going to say const handle sign out, and just say auth sign out. So you can see, so after you sign out, so we need so let me just say const router. We actually need to import use router. So I'm going to say router dot push back to login. So let me just put this. I'm going to say const, I'm going to say on click and handle sign out. So let's tell Next.js that this is a client side component. I'm going to say use client. Okay, so this should be working perfectly fine now. So actually I need to copy this logic again to the about section. Okay, there is the form, so let's just copy this and navigation. Then I'm just gonna come here, let's say on click handle sign out, and again I'm gonna specify that this is a use client. This is a server client component. Okay, so this is about section, and this is the navigation. So let's cross check again. Okay, so now let's test this. Everything should be working as expected now. So let's see if I click on sign out. Okay, it signed me out. So now let's try to access the login page. You can see the home page is taking me back. So let's try to access the about. It's also taking me back. So now let's just log in and see what happens. I'm gonna say I think let's say 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. And then click on login. So it successfully logs me in. I'm going to go into the about. Takes me. I'm going to go back to the home. Let's just try accessing the login. Takes us back, and let's just sign out. Signs us out. I hope this tutorial was really helpful. Again, if you don't understand any concept, just leave a comment down below. I'm going to try as much as possible to get back to you. So if you enjoyed this tutorial, please do subscribe, hit the notification bell, and we'll be posting more content like this soon.